Alright, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about the Houston Rockets. They have been playing some great ball this year. They're currently sitting second in the Western Conference, and I feel like it's about time. They've been doing this all year, but I haven't made a video about them. Finally, it's the time now. I'm making a video talking about the Houston Rockets and why they've been so good this season. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Houston Rockets, they have been very good this year. They're currently sitting 25-12, second in the Western Conference. They have been just playing some great ball. Last year they had the kind of a jump of a year where they brought in Fred VanVleet, brought in Dylan Brooks. They exceeded expectations where everyone thought they were just going to climb from the bottom to be a little bit better. They were very close to making the play-in last year. They were a 40-win team. And it was like, man, like how good can this Rockets team be? Personally, for me, coming into the season, predicting the standings, I didn't have them super high because I was just like, man, there's so many good teams in the West. I just trust them more with more experience than the Houston Rockets, an unexperienced team. But they've proved me wrong. You know, like they are 25-12. They're second in the Western Conference. They're sitting at second place right now. I know it's only January. We have like 40 something more games left to play, but still, that is very impressive for this team. They're playing some great ball. They got a really good win last night over the Memphis Grizzlies, another team that they're fighting with in that second and third place in the Western Conference. They've been very good. They've won 8 of their last 11 games since the in-season tournament loss to the Thunder. They won 8 of their last. They're 8-3 in their last 11. They've been playing very good ball, man. They really are a really good team. Looking at some numbers and how they're doing it on the court statistically, they have the 11th ranked offense, the 3rd ranked defense, 6th in net rating. It's really been that defense. Last year they're a really good defensive team, but this year they've been kind of about the same, if not maybe even better this season. Top 5 defense combined with an offense that is ranked 11th, even though I was surprised it was ranked 11th. I thought it was going to be a little bit lower, but still, 11th offense, 3rd defense is really good, and 6th in net rating. Looking at some of their stats and numbers, offensively, nothing really jumps off the page with them in terms of statistically. Like, statistically, they're actually not a good shooting team. They're 28th in field goal percentage and 29th in three-point percentage. So, on offense, they're not really a good shooting team in terms of we're just going to light you up. That's not really how they play. And numbers show that. What they are good at, though, on the offensive end, are rebounding. They are first in offensive rebounds, 5th in defensive rebounds, 1st in total rebounds per game. They're the best rebounding team in the NBA, specifically on the offensive end. And when they're getting offensive rebounds, they're getting second opportunities, third opportunities, that's going to help it a lot, obviously. Just getting, if we're not going to shoot the ball well, hey, we're just going to get as many chances as possible to shoot. Eventually, they're going to have to start falling and going in. So that's been a big key to them on the offensive end, and why they've been able to keep up in terms of scoring is because they rebound the ball a lot and they get a lot of extra opportunities. They are 29th in assists too, which is interesting, especially being a team that doesn't really have one superstar carrying the ball all the time. They don't have a lot of assists, but they're also 5th in turnovers per game. So they're not assisting the ball a lot, but they're also not turning the ball over a lot, which is a good thing. Looking at some other numbers, 6th in points off turnovers, which contribute to their defense. 1st and second chance points, which again, getting extra opportunities. Second, being 1st in offensive rebound means you're probably going to get a lot of second chance points. 2nd in fast break points. 7th in points in the paint. So a lot of their scoring and a lot of their good offensive numbers are from getting second opportunities and getting out in transition and running because of their defense. That's really how they score a lot. Their half-court offense is not great right now. They're not an amazing half-court offense team. They do have guys that can get buckets like Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Fred VanVleet's a solid table setter, but they don't really have a great. Once you slow them down and get them in the half court, they're not as effective, because they just have a lot of athletes, a lot of guys that run. They just love causing chaos on defense, coming out in transition, and running and getting easy ones. That's really how they score a lot. And their defense has been elite on another level. Looking at some of their defensive numbers, they're 4th in opponent points off turnovers. So when you're almost top 5 in scoring your points off turnovers and also top 5 in not allowing points off turnovers, that's great. 3rd in opponent fast break points, So you're top 3 in both scoring fast break points and also not allowing fast break points. And then they're third in opponent field goals made, third in opponent field goal percentage. So teams are not shooting the ball well. They also don't give up threes. They're second in opponent three-pointers made, second in opponent three-point attempts. So they're also running you off the line. So it's like, if we're not shooting the ball well from three, you're not going to shoot the ball well from three either. You know? They're second in opponent assists per game, third in opponent points per game. So yeah, their defense is really good. Don't allow threes, force a lot of turnovers. Let's get out and let's run. That's really the offense the Rockets do. And watching them play, they kind of feed off that. They've become kind of like a sort of grit and grind type of team, old Memphis Grizzlies type days, if you will, where the Rockets will not mind getting into a tough battle, which is very impressive for a young team. Usually, young teams like this, where a lot of your core players are young guys, 23, 22, they want to go out and they want to go, push the pace, run, give me my 25 to 30 points. Let's go out and let's just run. Let's just run this team at the gym. But for this Rockets team, they're very different in a sense of they don't mind getting into a dogfight, a 92 to 90 type of game. A game that's going to come down to a game where you're going to force a lot of turnovers, a game where you're not going to shoot the ball well, but we're just going to be physical and we're going to fight. This is a very physical team. They don't mind getting physical. They don't mind getting in there and roughing people up. They don't mind having to get into the trenches and win the offensive rebounding battle and having to go dive on the floor and got to go for win the turnover battle. Not going to have an amazing, exciting shooting game, but we're still going to find a way to win. And that's very impressive for a young team. That's very impressive for a young team that they're buying into that. That's kind of been their identity this year has been just rough, physical defense. And we're just going to find ways to win like that. Similar to maybe Miami Heat-ish the last couple of years where they know they're not a high-powered offense, but we're just going to grind the game out. We're just going to defend. We're going to hit our shots when we kind of need to, and we don't mind getting into dogfights. We don't mind getting into 95 to 93 type of games. So yeah, the Rockets have been very good at that end. Got to give a lot of credit to Ime Udoka as well. Last year when he came in, he made a huge difference, and this year he's only getting better. He's an amazing coach. Obviously, he's going to bring the defense. Also, players just love him. You know, like even still to this day, we hear things about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. People like from Boston when he was there say how much they appreciate Ime Udoka. He just seems like a player's coach. So many times where he just has great interviews, great stuff to say. Like Ime is a great coach for this team, and it really was he was the right piece for this team. He was the right piece because before this, obviously we knew the Rockets were the dumpster fire of the NBA. Things were going bad. They looked like an AAU team out there. And so Ime Udoka really was the big first piece, and now everything's just coming into place. Looking at players now, you have an interesting dynamic with them where they don't have a really like a number one. Like some nights Jalen Green is number one. Some nights Alperen Sengun is number one. Some nights Fred VanVleet gives you 30. Some nights it's Dylan. Like they don't really have a true number one, which is a good thing because that means you can't really anticipate what's going to happen. And also it gets everybody involved. Everybody as a team plays. But it's also a double-edged sword because on the other hand, when it comes to late game situations, usually that's when the star player says, all right, it's my turn. Like a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum, uh, Jalen Brunson. It's like, all right, it's my turn. And the Rockets don't really have that. And the Rockets, this year, a lot of their losses have come in clutch games, close games. Like there's the game against Minnesota a couple weeks ago, where they're up 15 in the fourth quarter, and they blew that lead because Anthony Edwards said, all right, it's my turn. And the Rockets didn't really have a guy to give the ball to when it's like, all right, 3 minutes left, we're up by 7. All right, here's star player, the ball's in your hands, it's in your court, take us home. The Rockets don't really have that right now, which is kind of like again, it's a double-edged sword. It's good. There's some good and bad, but it's still a good team to watch on the offensive end. Jalen Green has been pretty solid this year. We all know Jalen Green has always been kind of a mystery type player where he goes through these streaks of ups and downs. And what is he? Is he a number one? Is he a number two? Is he someone that can contribute on a winning team? We don't really know, but he's been solid. He started the year off very hot. He won a little cold streak. He's back on a hot streak recently in his last 8 games. He's given you 25, 4 and 2 on 45, 40, 83 splits. So right now he's on a hot streak. Who knows what's going to happen in another week or two? Maybe he might drop down. That's just what Jalen Green has been this year. Questions still haven't really been answered. Like we still don't really know what is Jalen Green in a sense of where does he fit in the NBA? What type of role is he? how can he contribute to a winning team? I mean, obviously he's contributing to a winning team right now, where he's the leading scorer on a team that's second in the Western Conference, so that's good. But we'll see what happens. But Alperen Şengün has still been incredible. Last year he had a big breakout season, and this year he's doing it even more. Even though I want to look at it statistically, it looks like he's not scoring as much, and he's not shooting the ball as well as he did last year. But he's still having a great year, giving you 19, 10, and 5 with a steal and almost a block on 49% shooting from the field, shooting 73% from the line. He's had some big games. Last night was a great game against Memphis. He gave you 32, 14, and 5. Şengün, after I feel like he had a really kind of a little bit of a slow start to the year, but now he's been picking it up. He's had some really good games, some 30-point nights, some triple doubles. He's been very good. And honestly, the Rockets are second in the West. They do deserve an All Star, but the tough thing is I can't really guarantee one for them because again, they are a team that doesn't really have one guy that stands out above everyone else, like a superstar guy. But if I had to pick my All Star for Houston, it's definitely Alperen Şengün. He's been the more consistent one on the team. He's been the one that has had big moments, and I feel like it'd just be easier for him to get in because in the Western Conference, guards are heavy. Jalen Green's gonna have to fight so many guys. You have to fight against Shea, Luca, who might not even qualify, but still, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox, John Morant. Like you have such a tough hill to climb. If you're a Western Conference guard that's not already like established, that I just feel like it'll be easier for a guy like Alperen Şengün as a forward to make it in there. So it'll probably be Alpi. And then the rest of this team, you have Fred VanVleet started off the year slow. He's still not shooting the ball super well from the field, but giving you 15 and 6. Just a really solid veteran point guard. I trust him with the ball in his hands all the time, and he makes big plays there. Dylan Brooks has had some good moments recently. He's giving you 13 points per game, shooting 38% from three. Really establishing a culture there with the Rockets. They do like to play physical, like to play a tough game. And Dylan Brooks obviously loves to play in that moment. And then you have the other guy, Jabari Smith is missing some time right now, but he's shooting 35% from three. Really solid defensively. Obviously you would like to see maybe a little bit more from him, and we haven't really seen a big jump from him, but he's still a very solid player on this team and really fits this team. And then you have Amen Thompson is incredible. Like I don't know how many basketball fans don't love Amen Thompson. Like he's giving you 12, 7, and 2, a steal and a block on 56% shooting. He's just he's such a I don't even like a I don't even want to say Swiss Army knife because I feel like that's not even giving him enough credit. Like Amen Thompson is such a one of one ish type of player where you don't see an Amen Thompson around a whole lot. You know, like he's what 6'7" forward point guard. Like he's a forward, but also know he has the capabilities of being a point guard. And he's so athletic, like one of the best athletes in the NBA. Like, but he also does so many different things on the court on both ends. Like he's such a crazy player to watch on the court because you're gonna see him involved in everything on both ends. Like on the offensive end, he's so athletic. Like last night, he almost had a crazy poster dunk. I forgot who he was dunking on. Was it like Zach Edey? I think maybe during the end of the game. He has that. He has all the athleticism in the world. You know, he can't shoot. The only thing he can't really do right now is shoot the three. He can't shoot threes right now. But besides that, he's so effective. Like it's a real like credit to him that he's a guy that can't shoot threes and teams are allowing to shoot threes. Like teams don't even guard him on the perimeter. You know, like being a guy like that in today's NBA, a guy that can't shoot threes in a 3-point shooting league, but him still being so effective, still getting amazing minutes, still being a key part of a team, and still being loved by everybody. Like usually the only people that can't shoot threes that still play are obviously big men. You know, but being a forward slash guard that can't shoot threes and having the impact that he has and having such a key factor on a team that he has just gives so much credit to him and how good of a player he is. Because again, the offensive end, he's gonna be super athletic, so sometimes he just will go up on you. He's a ball handler too, but sometimes he can play. He can be a point guard if you need him to be, and he makes good passes there. He isn't. He's fine also while being a lead ball handler. He also could be the dive man. He could be the cutter. He could be playing on the dunker spot if you need him to. We just dump it down, get a quick dunk in. And then defensively, he just makes so much impact. Like he probably will have his name in the all defensive hat. He guards, forwards, guards, steals, blocks. He rebounds the ball at a crazy rate, right? Like he'll have like 13, 14 rebound games. So he's amazing. He's incredible. And like the Rockets have to keep onto him for dear life, man. And then you also have Tari Eason, his twin, the terror twin of Tari Eason. He has not played in a little while, but when Tari Eason is out there, I love Tari Eason since he was a rookie. Another guy that is going to come out. He fits the culture of just being tough, physical, defends very well on the perimeter, gets a lot of steals and blocks. And on offensive end, he can shoot the three ball. He's not afraid of putting the ball on the floor and attacking. He does a lot of different things as well. So having those two is great. And unfortunately, you don't have Tari Eason, but you know who you have in his place? Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore, who in his last 10 games since getting minutes without Tari Eason, has had some good moments. In his last 10 games, he's averaging almost 20 minutes per game, giving you 13 points, a steal, shooting 43% from the field, 40% from three. He's had some big nights. He had a 17-point game against Charlotte, 27-point game against New Orleans, a 17-point game the other day against Washington, 18-point game against Dallas. So like he is a guy that we know can score. He showed it last year. He had some moments where he can get buckets. We all know that. He's in a very weird situation though, because he doesn't really kind of doesn't fit the team in terms of like tough. Like he does, but he doesn't. He has the toughness and physicality and all that stuff, but he's also a guy that on the offensive end, he's gonna go get his bucket, and he does not swing that rock. Like he can score so well, so it's good, but he does not swing. Like he has over this last 10 games, he has the same amount of fouls as he has assists. Just saying. So that's gonna be interesting to see what happens to him in his Rockets future. But then you also have so many other guys on this team that can step up. Aaron Holiday has sometimes come in and gave him 10, 12 minutes randomly of just hustle, hard work, and hit some threes. Jay Sean Tate is a guy that fits this team. He's just a guy that's gonna come in. He's not gonna play a whole lot. He's not gonna be a starter. He probably will sit some games, but when he does come in, he always stays ready, comes in, gives you heart and hustle, defends well. You know, Reed Shepard had to get sent down to the G League because unfortunately he just hasn't really found his place yet. But we know that Reed Shepard could be a really good player. Steven Adams is still playing on this team, even though he is older. You can definitely tell he's not the same Steven Adams from a couple years ago. His knees are giving out on him. He's still just a big body, still physical, and still just a high IQ basketball player and a vet out there. Jock Landale even come in and give you some minutes and get some blocks and hit a three or two. So like the Rockets have everyone left in. Like Jeff Green doesn't even play on this team anymore. Jeff Green doesn't really need to play. Last year he was like the seventh man. This year he doesn't really need to play because like they have so many guys out there that are young that can do good things out there that they don't really need Jeff Green playing anymore. Obviously he's such a core piece in the locker room and as a vet, but Jeff Green doesn't really need to see the core anymore. So this Rockets team is really really good, man. They're a really good team, really nice to watch. Um, and it's just awesome how much this team is bought in, how just like high they're setting the bar now. Because now when you look at the Houston Rockets, they're 25-12. They're sitting second in the West. The pace they're on right now, unless they have a huge collapse during the year, they're probably going to be around a 47 to 50 something win team and be a top and host a playoff series. When's the last time the Rockets hosted a playoff series? 2019, maybe. Like, because 2020 they made the playoffs, but it was in the bubble. And then after that, that's when James Harden requested, and then that's when everything kind of fell down the drain. But they might host a playoff series this year. Like, that's crazy to think about. And now, let's say that does happen. You do get like a 3 seed in the West. Now, the rebuild is kind of over now. Like, now it's kind of like, all right, we're not rebuilding anymore. Now we are going. Like, this is a competitive team. And once you see that, the Rockets have a lot of young pieces. They got some picks. The Rockets, if the Rockets want to go get that star that they're missing, they can go get him. They're one of the teams I trust the most can go get a guy. Let's say, I talked about the Phoenix Suns the other day. Let's say the Suns are a flame out again and Kevin Durant says, hey, peace. What's stopping the Houston Rockets? I'm saying, hey, you want Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith Jr., a couple picks, and maybe, I don't know, If you want to throw in Reed Shepard, that's fine, maybe, however you feel, or Fred VanVleet, and let Reed Shepard be the backup next year, and so throw him a couple picks. What's stopping you from going out and getting Kevin Durant? I don't think it's gonna happen this year. I know a lot of people have been talking about maybe this year going to make the move. I don't think this year's the right time, especially with the new CBA and stuff. Looks like there's not gonna be a lot of superstar players on the market. And if I'm the Houston Rockets, if I'm the Houston Rockets and I'm making a move, I'm making a move. You know, like I've seen a lot of the Jimmy Butler stuff. I don't really love it personally. Like I don't think it would be a bad move at all. But I just think the Houston Rockets have more things in the chamber. They can go for something bigger than Jimmy Butler. They can go for something a little bit higher up than a Jimmy, you know? But yeah, this Rockets team can really be scary, man. If they do get that guy in another year or two, like this is going to be a very scary team in the next couple years. And it's just so awesome to see the Rockets back at this point. Like we haven't seen the Rockets be like this in a little while. And it's all young guys, man. The young guys playing well, defending hard. Like it's just so nice to see, and I cannot wait to keep watching this team and see where they end up, man. I really want to see how far this Rockets team this year can go. You know, can they be a top? Are they going to be a top three seed in the West? Like that would be crazy if the Rockets finish as a top three seed in the Western Conference and host a playoff series. Like that'd be absolutely incredible. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.